Stan Gibilisco here from the black holes of Dakota Territory, United States of abominable winters. Uh, Winters of the kind I remember from my childhood in Minnesota. They're predicting already that we're going to have a very cold first half of January here. The coldest that I can recall in my 13 years of residence here. So much for global warming, okay? I just had to put that one in. But really what I'm getting at here is Windows 10. I have some more thoughts and observations about that particular operating system and thoughts and operations about computers in general. Operations meaning functionings of the gray matter in between my ears, which seems to be, for some reason today, very strange indeed. Maybe it needs an update, an automatic update. How do I link in? How do I tap into the internet of human intelligence? Or are the two contrary to each other? Well, behind me you see my trusty old Windows 7 notebook computer, which I have alluded to in other videos, held together with figurative Scotch tape and imaginary baling wire. In other words, they're just hanging by, I don't know what. They're hanging by the tenacity of somebody who just doesn't want to throw them away, and the absolute revulsion towards the notion that a computer operating system knows more about what I want than I do. And that operating system is Windows 10, which is residing right now on a notebook computer in a very cold room because it's over the unheated garage through one of those doors behind me. Which door is it? Door A, door B, or door C? Whichever one you get, though, if you get Windows 10, you're going to get an operating system that wants to try and that thinks it knows more about what you need than you do. It's really that simple. It seems like that's what all our politicians think these days. They think they know better what we need than we know as to what we need. It didn't work so very well for one politician this last time around, and I have a feeling that we're going to see another repeat performance before too long, because the same batch of bozos that run the country seem to be the same batch of, dare I say, bozos that design operating systems for computers with the intention of making computers that know more what their users want than their users do. And what an absurd notion when you come right down to it. How ridiculous can you get? How stupid do you think we, John Q. Public of the United States of America, collectively are, anyway? We aren't that stupid. Honest. You can't make a computer that's smarter than a human being. That's one of the science fiction attributes of my mode of thinking. And I think it applies here. I played around a little bit with that toy in that very cold room today, and that's all it is a toy right now for me, because it has Windows 10 on it, and I have relegated that operating system to the status of a toy. I toy with it, and it toys with me. And that's all we do. And it's really rather fun if you get into the right frame of mind. If you aren't going to worry about whether or not you're going to get anything useful accomplished, then you're just fine. As far as I'm concerned with Windows 10, I'm not going to get anything useful accomplished because Windows 10 thinks it knows what is useful and what I ought to accomplish better than I know what is useful for me and what I ought to accomplish. And I don't particularly like that. So, as long as I don't take it too seriously, we get along just fine. It's sort of like, the relationships that some people have. They aren't serious. And they have a great time because they're not serious. The minute they get serious, it's all over. Remember that song? It was something about you try to catch the wild thing and it dies. Well, Windows 10 is a wild thing. If you allow it to run free and you let it have its way and you treat it with kind of a lighthearted non-seriousness, then I think you'll be all right. At least I will be. But the minute I get serious, the minute I try to grab that operating system and make use out of it, it dies. Sort of like, remember when you mixed flour with water and you got this stuff that seemed really solid as long as you were stirring it around, but the minute you held it in your hand, it trickled through your fingers like water? That's Windows 10. It's the flour and water operating system. It's only meant for beta testing. It's only meant for me to beta test it, because all it wants to do with me is beta test me. We get along just fine as long as we accept that. The minute you try to catch the flying free bird, it dies. Just some discombobulated thoughts on a night before the night before the night, before we change the number of the year and the weather changes the number of the thermometer drastically lower. Here in the black holes of Dakota Territory, United States of Absurdity, residents of Stan Gibilisco, Emperor of Absurdity, saying, so long for now, and see you when I see you.